Hey guys, Professor Akali here. This is going to be a video on 5 tips you can use to help you get to gold. The season is ending soon and 66% of you aren't gold yet, and I'm sure all of you want that Victoria skin in gold border. These tips will definitely help you, and with a little practice you might just be able to get that gold. Number 1. Crafting up the right champion pool. Now this first tip is going to be based on the fact that there is this very deadly mental condition that most League players suffer from called tilt. It will cause the enemy team to play worse, flame their team, and even potentially rage quit. These are all good things for you, a player trying to climb. So what champions should you be playing at lower ranks trying to get the enemies to tilt? Lane bullies. Ever heard the saying, win lane, win game? That's exactly what solo queue is, especially in the lower ranks. Get 1 to 2 kills in lane, the person you're laning against is likely to not only tilt himself, but he might even start flaming his jungler to the point where the entire enemy team is tilted. Learn to play champions like LeBlanc that are designed to win lane, and you will find yourself winning more games in general and finding the enemy team surrendering at 20 more often. Because let's be real guys, you can't trust your team to play late game properly, and it's too rare a bronze or silver player knows how to play late game. Number 2. Playing extremely aggressive while you practice a champion. So over many years, a lot of people have asked me for tips on getting better at League. One of the things I'd always tell them is to just play hyper aggressively in normal games or on a smurf. Playing extremely aggressively while you practice a champion or role will help you learn your limits a lot faster than you would if you were just focused on not dying all the time and playing too safe. The faster you learn your limits, the faster you'll be able to carry your team. Number 3. Learning to be a leader. This next tip is about leading your team to objectives and making them rotate correctly. In doing my educational commentaries in bronze and silver, it seems like every game, our team gets mid-inhib, but then stays to mess around just outside of their Nexus towers. That is definitely a good way to throw a lead. If you as a player can realize when your team is wasting time, you can lead them with pings in chat towards progressing to the end of the game. For example, if you and your team get an inhib around 28 to 30 minutes in, and Baron is alive, ping your team to assist you at Baron or say something about it in chat. Same thing goes for outer and inner towers. You can go get more towers for a ton of team gold rather than just derp around in the enemy team's base. Honestly, you'd think this tip is common sense, but literally every game I play, I see lower ranked players make this mistake. I'm assuming it has something to do with cockiness and thinking the game is just over, but really there's no need to throw your lead. You should always be pushing your lead further, not backwards. Number 4. Building to win. Something I see regularly while playing mid and top is that the players don't build according to their needs. They just copy and paste a pro builds or a Mobifier rune page, mastery page, and item build. The only time this would ever be a good idea is if you're a smurf who's presumably better than everyone else, or you just don't have the IP to get the right runes. For example, you don't go health per level yellows against a Zed mid, you go flat armor. You don't go Abyssal Scepter first just because Voyboy built it in a completely different situation, you get a Seeker's Arm Guard. Same thing goes for playing against AP. If you're against a LeBlanc mid, you don't go MR or AP per level, you go flat MR so you don't die in lane. And if you do end up dying to a LeBlanc, Annie, or any AP that has a high kill potential, you don't proceed to build your Morellos anyways, you get a Negatron so you don't end up 0 and 10 20 minutes in. This same concept can be applied to bot lane. Korean AD carries usually always get a QSS because they know that it's more valuable than one damage item. The funny thing is, getting a QSS usually means you'll be doing more damage than you would if you actually got a damage item, just because you'll be living longer in teamfights. Just remember to think about what you're building and why, rather than following a cookie cutter build, and you'll find playing the game is actually a lot easier. And lastly, number 5, learning how to position yourself. This one is frustrating to think about for sure. The amount of Lucians, Vaynes, and Ezreals that dash towards 5 enemies because they're clueless is crazy. For the most part, the only people that should be frontlining a teamfight are bruisers, tanks, and assassins. Squishy AP and AD carries need to stay further back because you're not doing your team a favor being the first ones to die in a fight. But at the same time, tanks and supports can be to blame too. If you're a Maokai jungler or an Alistar support, and you have a 10-0 Lucian and a 0-10 Riven, you should be peeling for Lucian. Jumping into an enemy backline with a useless Riven is straight up pointless when your AD carry dies way before theirs does. If you have one person doing 80% of your team's damage, you better keep that player from dying. Anyways guys, that's it for the 5 tips. If you've learned something, please leave a like. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe on similar guides on how to improve your League skills and climb in ranked. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my more technical rank climb video called 10 Tips to Increase Rank to Challenger. Just click on the picture if you're interested in watching. Thank you.